Yeah, like seriously, my mental health at the moment is just like I said, it's this time of the year, I think, and I think once I meet up with the boys, do the charity ride, it is something to keep you buzzing, like remind you why you're alive, and you know, and that life is exciting and opportunities and you know everything else like that. But I will get there. I always do. And you know, that'll either be with the help of my wife or with Rev and the boys. I will get there. It's a little downfall. I think at the moment there's just so much is changing so quickly. I'm a little bit overwhelmed, and it's it's kind of not been helpful. But it is what it is, and unfortunately there is change in life, and ADHD or not, I've had to learn to adapt to that. And I'm better at it than what I was as a child, obviously. You know, like when I was a child, I would have just had a meltdown, that's it. You know, I can't be bothered, life's shit. The normal, like, you know, kids and teenagers thing you would say back then. But, you know, someone said to me, like, you always bounce back. And I'm like, yeah, because you've got two choices in life, right? You can either sit there and mope, or you can just get on with it like everyone else. And yeah, I might be different. I might have my mental health problems like my ADHD, my depression, my anxiety. But me sitting there moping about it isn't going to change anything. Does that make sense? So I've learned and I've taught myself that yes, it might be horrible for me, and you know, I take it worse than obviously, you know, a normal person would, but at the end of the day, nothing's going to change whether I kick, scream, shout or sulk. And you know what it's like, guys, I will always tell you how it is. And like I said, I have got so much change going on, and it is overwhelming for me. I'm not going to lie to you, like, you know, simply like just for work example, right, we can be used at different stores. Now, I've got no problem with going to a different store to get my hours because at the end of the day I'm working. But I find it a little bit overwhelming going to somewhere I don't know. But I do it anyway. Do you know what I mean? That's, you know, part and parcel of the job. But like, I really struggle with it. And then for the next few days after, I'm a bit, you know, up and down, shall we say. I struggle. But it is, like I said, it is what it is. And you can't change that in life. You know, there's shit that's just out of your control. And, you know, if I want to bring the money in, I've got no choice but to go to these other stores. And that's kind of how I see life now. Or I have to see life like a normal person would. And that doesn't matter with the fact of my mental health or not. And I know that if I get truly stuck or if shit's too much, I've got my wife to fall back on, I've got my friends to fall back on, whether that's my motovlogger friends, Rev and the boys, or the guys at work. And you know, these people don't realise how much they actually do for you in your life when they're in it. You know, and I could never tell them. Like, I'd never be able to turn around and say, like, you know, exactly what they've done or anything like that. But just like being there and everything else, they've just helped enormously without knowing they've done it. And I'm grateful, I really am. I've got some really good friends, you know. Back a couple of years, well, more than a couple of years ago, I didn't have good friends. Like, I had backstabbers, I had people that you couldn't trust. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't want them to be your friends, they're more like your enemies. But now, like, it's different now. A lot different now. You know, I've got people I can rely on, I've got people I can fall back on. I've got things that I can do, and do you know what I mean? It's hard to try and explain for me. But like, I've got that support network which I didn't have before, but I have now. You know, you saw it in the motor vloggers group, how high I went, how excited I was, and how it just meant the fucking world to me, because I never thought I would be part of something. You know, I've never fit in anywhere. Like, no matter what I've done in life, I haven't fitted in. But with, you know, the motor vlogger boys, with my wife, with my friends from work, I finally feel like I belong. You know, they're a bunch of absolute nutcases, don't get me wrong. Like, none of them are sane in any way. They wouldn't be hanging out with me if they were. But like the connection, the fact we all get on, we all just instantly like bond. No one asks any questions, it's just, are you okay? And if you're not, what's going on, what can we talk about, you know? Or if you don't want to talk about it, what can we do to like distract you or help you get you through this? And you know, I've never really had that in my life. I'm 32 years old, coming up 33 in January, and I've never really had that. I mean, I've had one reliable friend from school, Michael, as you've seen in the videos, but obviously Mike has his own shit going on, his own problems too, so I can't always rely on Michael. I can't always go to him for help because he's not always able to, you know. And this is the biggest thing in life, is life's become so busy that not everyone's free when you need them. And I'm sorry for this long ramble, but with you guys, I've always been honest and upfront with my feelings and what's going on in my head, and I'm a twat. I just realised I'm going to Portstead and I didn't bring the change with me. Whoops. But you know what I'm saying, do you know what I mean? And it's humbling to have these people in my life, and my brakes are really playing up. Brakes, rear brake. I think I've got what Mike said, a bit of uneven wear on the rear brake. So I'm going to have to at some point. I'm replacing the brake pads anyway. They're not low or anything, they're just, I think something's happened with the rear wheel alignment at some point. Not done by me because it goes in the garage for it. And it's a bit bent out of shape, shall we say. But yeah, as I was saying, you know, to have that support network, to have these guys by my side, to be able to support one another, it's been fantastic. And my 2024 wouldn't have been the same without these guys, you know. Like, I've really made some really good friends this year, and people I can actually rely on and trust and know that they're actually going to be there for me and not just say they're going to be there. So it's been nice. It's been really nice, and you know, thank you to all of you guys too that follow and support, because like when I've had like last year, when I had my moments with my depression last year, people were like, you know, you're right, what's going on, buddy? You know, and that was really nice too, and really humbling too. And you know, we've now hit